Hello, Revere, and welcome to another Revere Veterans and Community Show. I have a real special guest. He's a double veteran, a veteran of the military and a veteran of the community. His name is Tommy Berube. Tommy, welcome.
Hello. Welcome to you.
Thank you. And first of all, before we even get started, thank you for your service. Now, you was a sergeant in the United States Air Force.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that, where you took your basic training and how you got up the ranks too.
Well, basic training started down at Lackland Air Force Base out of San Antonio, Texas.
Right.
And from there, after going through several weeks down there, it was rather hot.
Yeah, just like it is now out there.
I got sent up to Lowry Air Force Base, and that's about 6 miles north of Denver, Colorado. Right now, the base is no longer, because we're talking. I was in the service going in 1966.
During the Vietnam?
During the Vietnam crisis.
So
now, once up at Lowry, that was a second phase basic training. We did a lot of marching. We had Squadron of the Month. We held Squadron of the Year, which meant our living areas, the barracks, were spit-shined completely. They had to go through many inspections, and we passed everything with flying colors.
did you have the white glove inspection too?
White glove inspections. One thing I do remember, having to strip the floors with razor blades because strippers would splash on the walls.
Oh, I see.
But those days are long gone.
So,
But there were many memories.
and they're all good.
Yes, for the most part. We just don't talk about the other ones.
You know, you was, before we get there, we'll eventually wind up there. You went to Germany. I was stationed in Germany, so we have a lot here to talk about. Tell us
Exactly.
a little about your education.
Well, going back to my education, I grew up right in Boston, near the Fenway area, and I went to Boston Technical High School,
Very good school.
which was an excellent school. Graduating from there, I took exams and got accepted to Lowell Tech, which is one step down from MIT. The kids that felt they could not get their grades at MIT, they decided to go to Lowell Tech to get
You
their
know,
A.
it's funny you should mention Lowell Tech, and I'd like to tell you something about Lowell Tech. When I got out of the service under the GI Bill, which we had in World War II, I went to MIT, but Lowell Tech was an evening school, but I was married, so I couldn't go in the daytime. I had to go at nighttime, and the night school was Lowell Tech, where I took
That's
engineering too.
Lowell Institute at MIT.
Yeah,
Not
but
Lowell
that
Tech, yeah.
later became part of the Lowell Technical Institute, so they called it the same thing.
Okay.
So go ahead. I just want to let you know, since we both have a lot in common here.
That was why I do remember it more than anything else. I was walking into a calculus class when President Kennedy was shot.
Oh, 1963.
Yeah,
That's quite a long
1963.
time ago.
I know, it goes back.
52 years ago.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that time flies
Yeah.
that quickly. Well, from there, the first thing they told us was, look to your right, look to your left. One of you may graduate. Well, I didn't have the background in the calculus, which I really needed before I went into Lowell Tech, and I did not make the grade. At that point, after spending a year there, I went to Wentworth Institute.
That's a very good
And
technical school.
Wentworth, I spent a couple of years at Wentworth. Then after I got out of school, I was 1A, and what to do? I researched many different things, and finally joined the Air Force. And the Air Force was pretty good.
And what did you do in the Air Force, if I may ask you exactly?
I really wanted everything electrical. I had the grades for it, but they were super filled up, so I got electromechanical, working on the weapon systems on the aircraft. Matter of fact, out at Lowry Air Force Base, that's where we learned everything on the weapon systems. We had both the guns involved, the missile launchers, and the rocket launchers that they use on the aircraft. Our main objective was to be able to troubleshoot everything from the cockpit down to the weapons. Plus, most of the time, we would be cleaning all of the rocket launchers and missile launchers and bomb racks that they had in storage in the warehouses. All these items had to be brought out every so many months, brought into the shop, make sure everything's cleaned, lubricated, so that if they have to use them and just put them on the aircraft, they're going to work the first time.
Tommy, I'd like to ask you, when you were in the service in the 50s, 60s, I guess, what type of planes did the Air Force have at that time?
Well, I get stationed in Germany.
We're going to get to that,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
But we started with F-100s, then we went to the F-105s, then the F-4C, the Phantom, and then the F-4D, the later model Phantom. And when I got out of the service, we were working on the F-4D.
Right, and what was the speed of some of those planes, if I may ask you, if you can, approximately?
I think they could do Mach 2 plus. I know they could do Mach 1. Somewhere between Mach 1 and Mach 2. And
That's breaking the sound barriers.
Oh yeah, they could do that.
No
Definitely.
wonder I keep hearing the booming over my house when I was doing that. That's good. By the way, tell us a little about your family. You're married to Chris, is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little about how you met Chris and...
Well, we met through friends and got along pretty well, and we finally decided to get married.
That's quick.
Now that's 30-something years ago.
Wow. And you're still married to the
Yeah,
same nice lady. Yep,
we're
I met
still
your
married.
wife a few times, and she's a lovely lady. And you also come to our senior center quite a bit.
So I like to stop into the senior center. That's the only way I find out what's going on. I mean, a lot of people hear things that are happening. That's how I learn. I learn a lot from when I see you once in a while. I find things out as to what's going on.
That's why you're not so bright. You learn from me.
I learn from everybody.
That's good.
You
I agree with
learn
you.
from everybody.
I would like to ask you something, if I may. You not only come to our senior center, and it's an honor and a pleasure to have you there because we do great things there, but you also go to some of the other places. Like you told me you go to Lynn, if I'm correct.
They've got a very nice senior center up in Lynn.
Is it as big as our senior center?
In some ways, yes, in other ways, no. They have many more programs.
Such as, I mean, give us an idea, and maybe we can get some of them into our senior center.
Well, I remember they've got a Wii bowling thing where you've got your...
A regular bowling alley?
On the TV, on a big screen.
Oh.
And you've got this little handheld gadget. And you actually bowl a ball with this gadget.
And you can see it on the screen?
And you see what you're doing on it.
That's pretty good. And what else do they have there?
And I walked in one day, and because I played it using 10 pins, I walked in another day and I said, "Oh my gosh, what's going on with this?" And they all started to laugh. They were playing 100-pin bowling on the TV.
Screen?
You could do it on the TV, but you can't do it on a regular alley, which was something different.
Right, and you also go to Chelsea once in a while.
Yes,
What do they do there, if I may ask?
They have quite a few programs in Chelsea. They've got a lot of different trips available for people to be able to go on. I know they've got one coming up that will go down to Foxwoods, and then another place called Captain Jack's. They go to both of them all in one day.
That's
and
good.
It's pretty good.
Because we have a lot of things at our Revere Senior Center, and you know, the seniors who live in Revere, 60 and up, should come down to our Senior Center because they would have a lot of fun there. We have bocce, we have Zuma, we have movies. Every Wednesday we have movies there, and we show the latest films. So, you know, and the lunch is terrific. Take a look at us.
They're very good lunches.
Right.
Now, up in Lynn, they've got something different. Their lunch starts at 11:15 and goes till 12:30.
Right.
But you don't call in advance. You just show up.
You don't have to call in?
No.
Then how do they know, excuse me, Tommy, that a whole bunch of people all of a sudden come on, and would they be able to cover them?
They have 3 separate items on the menu.
Oh.
They've got a primary lunch, they've got a secondary lunch, and they've got a sandwich. That's the third one.
Oh, so they'll always have something for everybody.
Always have something, and which is very good.
Right, and our Revere Senior Center, if I may say, we have from 12 to approximately 12:30, we have our lunch. But we have terrific lunches. Like today,
They
we
are
had
good.
lasagna and meatballs. We had vegetables. We had chocolate pudding, watermelon, milk, bread and butter. No wonder everybody there is up and down the weight system.
No, it's good. I've been trying to take off weight, and I've been doing a
Throw
pretty
it my way when you're
pretty
taking
good
it.
job.
Right. What I would like to talk to you about, people don't know that, but you drove the bus Greyhound for a long time. Tell us a lot of the places you visited, because you must have seen a lot of America.
Well, basically, out of the Boston terminal, we handle going to New York City, going down to Atlantic City from there, and also down to Washington, D.C., and the furthest south going down to Richmond, Virginia.
That's as far south as you went?
That's as far south as
how-
I've gone driving.
And how far west?
Usually to Albany,
Okay.
and then from Albany up to Montreal.
So it was mostly the eastern seaboard that
Exactly.
you covered.
The minute you get beyond your area, they send you back.
Oh, I see.
They,
So,
it's one of the things they have to do. They have to send you back. They can't let you keep going west.
also, in other ways,
Initially.
each driver of a Greyhound had a certain area that they covered, and they stay within that zone.
With the exception of during the holiday seasons, when drivers just were going straight out. If you had hours to drive, they'd send you wherever they wanted. You didn't have a choice.
So no matter where you... Now, they put you up in the hotels too, if you're like, let's say, in Albany or in the places down in Virginia?
Exactly.
So they
They
take...
either have hotels available or they have a dormitory,
Oh,
depending, because there are so many people coming into New York. They had their own dormitory.
it's funny, when I was a little boy, going to high school, I went to high school in New York, at Columbus Circle. I believe the Greyhound terminal, because we used to go there, was on 8th Avenue at that time.
8th and 42nd.
Thank you. I couldn't remember exactly the street.
To 9th and 42nd.
42nd, right. Because my high school was not far, 42nd. We were at 59th Street and 10th between 10th and 11th Avenue. That's what the main building of R&I was. Then we had an annex up on 99th Street. On the 3rd Avenue L, we had the L, because that's down now, just like the L that you people had here in Boston at one time, down by City Square. I remember when I first came here, I felt like I was at home because everything was just like New York, except the Red Sox and Yankees.
I think my favorite time of leaving New York City, on my run, I'd leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, coming to Boston, and I had a local, making many stops going up the coast.
Yep.
Well, during the month of December, all the people on the bus I would detour a little bit, so I'd go past the big Christmas tree. That's
Oh,
on
at Rockefeller Plaza?
Rockefeller Plaza.
Rockefeller Center,
And
Rockefeller Plaza.
everybody went, oh my gosh.
Yep.
It was just so, because there were no cars on the road at that time. There was just the bus I was driving, maybe a paper truck delivering some newspapers, but that was about it. We could get past it, see all the lights. They kept them on all night long. They didn't shut them down. And it was a very beautiful sight to see.
It is, and not only that, Tommy, some of the trees that they put up, at least when I was there, were over 70 feet tall.
I could believe that.
Okay, so they weren't short trees. I don't know how they got them up, but they did. And it was beautiful, and they would have the ice skating rink around the area down below.
And I remember one serviceman. He was going to New London, Connecticut. He was stationed at the base up there.
Right. Then,
Well, as he was getting off the bus, he said, "Thank you so much for coming past the Christmas tree." He said, "I wanted to come down to see it, but I just have not had the time that they wouldn't give me any time off."
right.
He
And,
was so
I
busy.
worked not far. As a matter of fact, I worked there one time in New London, Connecticut, where they had the submarine base, and they were building, I think, the U.S. Nautilus, the submarine that they had out there, was at the New London, Connecticut.
All the new submarines that are coming in, they're jet black.
Oh,
The
they're
ones
all
that-
black now?
They're all black. I wouldn't have realized it except that I see them coming. They're on the surface at that point coming in.
I wonder why. Well, I guess for the reflection, maybe. So enemy subs wouldn't see them on there. But today you don't have to worry about that because they
They
got
know-
the technology. I
know
mean,
where
they
you
can
are.
find them anywhere.
They can probably hear your heart beating.
Yep. Now, Tommy, I'd like you to talk a little about when you were in Texas. You mentioned to me you went near the Alamo. Tell us a little about that.
On the one weekend that I did have off, I went down to see the Alamo, and well, it was pretty much a disappointment because I expected something bigger. It was this small building,
Yep.
and which they had thousands of soldiers trying to break the thing down, and this is all they had to be able to hold them off. And this one building had more people selling trinkets and Alamo gadgets and whatever, that it just didn't have any reverence to it.
Did you ever meet any Native Americans when you were down there?
I've met a few.
Right, in Texas or in different parts of the country there?
Different parts of the country.
So that was pretty good over there. Now, you were stationed in Germany. I was stationed in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little, because we're here to talk about you.
Okay.
Tell us where and how you liked it.
Well, I was stationed at Spangdahlem Air Force Base. Most people never heard of it.
I just
the
heard of-
servicemen.
Right.
It was a small base, about 20 Ks from Trier, or Trieste, whichever way you spell it. It's probably one of the oldest cities in Germany, located along the Moselle River. And we had another air base not too far, but as the crow flies, it was about 6 miles away, called Bitburg Air Base.
Bitburg I heard of.
Yeah. But we were an air base that was primarily there for the Cold War. I can talk about things now. It's been 45 years.
Right.
We had an alert pad where we always had aircraft on the alert pad ready to go. The pilot and the crew chief slept in a little small bunker next to the planes. And if anything should happen, the air police pull back the fences, they cartridge start the planes, and they've got 15 minutes to get the plane up.
That was it?
That was it. They got 15 minutes to get the plane up. Actual time, I think, was 5 minutes. We could do it.
It's funny because you're talking about 50 minutes. When I was stationed in
That was 15, 1-5.
Right. Well, when I was stationed in Germany, when the Russians put the blockade on and they had to land at Tempelhof Air Base to bring in food, to bring in coal, because it was in the winter time when they needed that stuff. 3 minutes flights. Boom, 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 in and out.
In and out, yeah.
Yep. That was it for us over there.
It would get, in the winter, it would get so icy on the road going up to the base, they'd shut the road off.
Right. You mentioned something about the Rhine River, Koblenz. Tell us a little about that.
Well, the Rhine meets the Moselle River at Koblenz.
Right.
I've been through there once, but most of the time I've been to activities of the Oktoberfest along the Moselle River.
Did you ever get a chance to visit the Oktoberfest over there?
Oh yes, the Oktoberfest was a lot of fun.
I know. You know, people think the Oktoberfest in Germany starts in October, which it should, but sometimes it starts in September or the end of near
July
the end.
even. They're even prepping for all this stuff
When do they-
weeks in advance, probably. Now, very small town that I remember called Krove, Krov. It's also spelled Krover, Krover.
Yep.
And they have, the Moselle kind of narrows down in that area. They have a floating bandstand that they put out on the river. They have electric wires that bring over. They have lights. It's all lit and everything. And they've got these very fancy, elaborate ferry boats to ferry these different groups from Switzerland, from Bavaria, from Italy, from all the different
all come in
countries.
there?
They all come down, and they put on their ceremonial, or whatever you want to call it, their local dance
Right.
or the festive occasion in all these special costumes that they have.
Yep.
And it's beautiful.
The German men with their lederhosen and the women
Exactly.
with the different types of dresses, like vests some of them have on.
Exactly. Well, they had a parade. Now, this is a town, if you were driving, you could probably hold your breath the entire length of the road going through the town.
That's a smaller one?
It's small, yeah. You could hold your breath. I mean, you're probably pushing it a little, but you could hold your breath maybe. This one day, they had a parade that lasted 4 hours.
Wow. Almost like we do here in Revere.
Yeah, but I mean, it lasted 4 hours, and everything was different. People from all over everywhere.
Right. Now, did you ever go visit, did you ever go into the big cities like Frankfurt, Berlin, Munich? Because that's where the Oktoberfest is big, is in Munich, as they call it.
I remember, what I do remember of more of any of the others, I went to Cologne, Germany.
Oh, yep. Did you see the cathedral there?
I saw the big cathedral
Right.
where Adenauer was buried.
Yeah. Oh, you went to the tombstone there?
I didn't go to the tombstone. I think it was a couple weeks after I was there that Adenauer died, or something in that range. They've got a 4711 Cologne factory. We had a trip going over there from the service center on Spangdahlem Air Force Base. We took a bus, a whole bunch of us, and I remember this tour so very well. They had about 300 young ladies working there. There are no men, because men cannot take the smell of the perfume. The women can. They love it. And they were all nice young ladies, and here we were a bunch of GIs, and with no girlfriends around. And so everybody's pretty into watching what's going on. They treated us to a fantastic light lunch in the early morning, and then when we finished the tour, they treated us to a meal afterwards in their cafeteria, and it was.
Did you like the German food, by the way? I loved it.
It's excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep. By the way, Tommy, we usually give every veteran that comes up here a flag, and I would like to give you a flag of the United States of America as a token of our appreciation for serving in the armed forces. I mean, in the Air Force. Well, part of the armed forces. So this is a flag. But don't run away.
Thank you very much.
Don't go away. Don't go away. A company sent me some things to give to the veterans, and I thought I'd give them to the military veterans. And you've been like a sergeant for 4 years. I mean, you was in the Air Force for 4 years. You've been as a sergeant. Well, Samsung sent us a couple of things. They sent it to the city of Revere. So the city of Revere is giving it to the veterans. And since you're a veteran, we're going to give it to you. Now, I know it's not what you think it is. It's not a television. It's not a big shortwave radio that you always keep asking me about, but it's a computer tablet.
Oh my God, I don't believe it.
Yeah, Tommy.
Oh my gosh.
This is given by the Samsung to the city of Revere, and the city of Revere, on behalf of the people, the veterans, and Mayor Dan Rizzo, who does a fabulous job for the veterans of Revere, would like me to present this to you.
Oh wow.
So,
Well,
good luck and take care of it.
Thank you so much.
Yep. You could come down to Senior Center and play music on this with us over here. I think you'll like it.
Wow.
Okay? So?
Because that's good. Right? We've got 2 computers that don't work at home right now.
Well, now you're going to have one that works, because this little tablet, I got one that I bring in and play music for the seniors. You've seen me. You've come in there.
Oh, yes.
It's exactly identical to this. That was built, well, I won mine, but you're getting yours from the city. I had to do a raffle to get mine, which was nice. Cost me a little $5 though. But anyway, we got about 3.5 minutes left, Tommy. I want you to take 2.5 and talk about whatever you would like to. Talk about the Senior Center again if you have to, the nice things that they do there, how you would like to see all the veterans who are seniors come into our center in Revere.
It would definitely be good to see a lot more people coming into the center.
Especially the veterans.
There are so many things available. They could, even if they just stop in to have coffee in the morning.
That's right.
Because that's how you learn. You meet other people. You find out what they like, what they do.
Now, you know something, Tommy? We could make it easy for the people in Revere. We have 2 shuttles. And if you can't drive, folks, the shuttle will be more than happy to pick you up.
Exactly.
All you have to do is call the number, 781-286-8156.
That is.
And just book your a day in advance if you want the lunch, or if you want to see a movie on a Wednesday, and we do show the latest of the late movies that come out. As you know, every Wednesday we have the movies there.
I know there's some good movies they've shown. They show
Yep.
at different times. It's every Wednesday
Right.
in the early part of the afternoon.
And we forgot to mention one other thing, Tommy. The birthdays. With a New York accent, I usually say the birthdays, but it's the birthdays. I'm learning how to speak English since I've been here in Boston. But anyway, we have the birthdays the last Tuesday of the month. And then the last Thursday of the month, Steve Fielding, who happens to be our director, he puts on a special guest that we have. And we have some great guests coming down. Some sing, some play instruments. But it's real good, folks. And you've been there.
Oh, definitely.
So that's...
And I understand that in August, the major show, what do they call it, in the afternoon from the show that they have once a month is going to be very good.
Yep. And not only that, we have flea markets there. People can come down and buy things from Lois Diamond for practically zero. Some of the stuff is terrific. Even people from that do work in the flea markets come down to our senior center to buy that stuff. So, Tommy, we got about a minute left, so
okay.
I want to take the time out to say that thank you for coming on our show, the Revere Veterans Community, to take the time off because we've been trying to get you for a whole year. But I know you've been busy, but it's a pleasure to have you come on here. So I want to say thank you for coming down. Thank you for your service, and God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Tommy, say hello to the missus for us,
Okay.
will you? And what I would like to say before we close, God bless our troops, our veterans out there, the people of Revere, our great country, the United States of America, and I hope we have some more great guests coming up over here. And again, Tommy, thank you for taking the time off, because I know you're a busy man, and coming on the show, and enjoy the computer that was donated by the city of Revere and Mayor Dan Rizzo. So it's all yours.
Thank you very much.
And if you don't want it,
I
I'll give
never
you my
expected
address,
it.
Tommy. If you don't want it, you can drop it right off.
Oh boy.
And we'd like to make a veteran feel good, and you are a good veteran.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.